Hi there everyone, and welcome to another Abyss Actor video. At this point, I'm basically the Marvel franchise of Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm bereft of any original ideas, and I just keep churning out the same Abyss Actor content over and over. But who doesn't love Abyss Actors, right? On the billing today, a deck profile that I've won locals with twice, and I've so far not placed lower than third with it. I know, one achievement. Here is the Abyss Actor lineup that I've been playing. Now, if you watch my regional deck list video, you may notice that these ratios are the exact same. And be wondering, why have I wasted your time with a very similar deck list? And to that, my friends, I counter with a solemn strike and ask, if you've already seen my regional video, why are you watching this one? What more could you possibly need? You have the secret recipe already. This video is for the non-believers. You play 3 Madonna, 3 Superstar, 3 Wild Taupe, 3 Curtain Raiser, 3 Comic Relief, 3 Extras, and the 1 Sassy Rookie. Because you want to max out on consistency, and I can't tell you how many times the 3 copies of each of the ones I play at 3 come up, and the 1 of Sassy Rookie is there for board protection, so you don't need more than 1 because he is searchable when you need it, but you definitely do need 1. He has won me so many games through both his Monster Effect and Pendulum Effect. The scripts are mostly bricks because going first, you don't want to see them and you can easily search them, so I try to keep the count as low as possible. The only one I consider bumping is honestly one of the old ones, Rise of the Abyss King. Having him at 3 sometimes does feel nice because I often find myself needing to use a third copy and I have to make some awkward plays like get Superstar and Scale just to get the third one out. And he can be a pop 6 without response, and that is easily the best script. The other 2 are more for utility, but they do serve good purposes, so you do need to play them. The 1 Theatre, you don't need more than 1. And to go back to the scripts very quickly, there's nothing worse than opening a hand of scripts going first. Even opening 1 in most cases is useless. And I think 4 is still the minimum that you can get away with, but you do need to play 4. Lastly, for the Abyss Actor cards, there's Dress Rehearsal. No matter what your build is, you should always play 3 of this. I once saw someone on 2 because they didn't want to draw multiples. Please don't do that. This deck already self-handicaps itself enough. For the non-Abyss Actor stuff in the deck, I've split it into 2 categories. You've got the can definitely cut category, and you've got the cards that I would not recommend cutting, at least for this list. So I'd keep the Ash and the Droll because they're awesome cards right now. Ash covers Branded, Droll covers Kashtira, and then they just both cover a range of other meta and rogue decks. Goes in Skill Drain, you flip these, you kick back, and you relax. These 2 are your auto-win button. I maintain that no other deck can play under Skill Drain better than Abyss Actors, and Gozen is like playing without it being there, because Abyss Actors is all dark. If they are relevant to the matchup, I will keep them in going second too. I cannot tell you how many times this has won me the game when going second. There just aren't a lot of decks that can out them without generic removal, and not a lot of people expect you to keep them in going second, but Gozen matches a board breaker going second, and Skill Drain as well against decks like Sprite that don't have high attack values, but it's still really good. The Baldrake is here because you only play him if you're opting to go first, because that's how you can guarantee that he is live. Bystials are still good in certain matchups, but they just don't cover as much as they used to. In Abyss Actors, going first, he's really good because you spam the board anyway, so tripping off a dark monster is very, very easy, but he's definitely cuttable, you don't have to play him. For the extra deck, I've also grouped these in the always use, sometimes use, and basically never use categories. Sometimes use are basically for utility, and the never use are the result of Abyss Actors not needing the extra deck too much, or it's just me not building optimally for them. Either way, if you think there are some better cards to play in any of these slots, then absolutely go for it. I will say that Cowboy is meant to be a Zeus. I just recently sold mine, and to be fair, neither have actually come up, so it doesn't really matter. If you want to make your Kashtira matchup a little bit better, run the Baguska and Zeus package, though it's very good. For the cards I always use, Hyper Director and Super Producer at 2 is, I think, the best way to play it. You don't need any more than 2 because no one's going to banish a 2 of in your extra deck. They always go for this one, which is also fine because if you're going second, you never actually need Beyond the Pendulum unless you're playing against Traptrix or Labyrinth, but neither of those 2 decks are banishing from your extra deck, which is fine. And then Appaloosa, the 2 Odd Eyes, are for you going first combo as well, and Underworld Goddess is just so good for outing towers, monsters, or stuff that can't be targeted. In the utility section, we've got Dark. It's an easy card to make in this deck, got good link arrows, got good recursion for the deck, but it doesn't come up nearly as much as it used to against Telements or when Bystials are around. Nightmare Phoenix is mostly in there for floodgates like There Can Be Only One and Anti-Spell. We've got Blackluster Soldier. This is just a beefy towers that is kind of like Avramax, because if you make it with a level 7, then it becomes untargetable and undestructible through card effects. And then Unchained Abomination is a really good boss monster for the deck because he pairs well with your Super Producer blowing things up, and your Rise of the Abyss King blowing things up as well. So he just applies a lot of board pressure. He does sometimes feel like a win more, but he is also an interruption on your opponent's turn if you don't kill them. Lastly, for the side deck, I've got cards that I wouldn't cut right now, and I've got cards that I could cut. I would not change the back row removal currently because it helps so much with Labyrinth. Comedian is here purely because Abyss Actors really struggle to out-towers monsters, Lady Labyrinth and Dragoon. So if the latter two fade out of the meta, so does Funky Comedian. Lancia is super good against Kashtira, it's also good against Flunderies, and it's just a lot of generic banishing at the minute. Evenly Matched is very popular, so is Cosmics or the Pots. So it does come up quite a lot. And then you've got Abyss Script, Opening Ceremony. This is here for winning in time, but also its effect to drop to 5 cards is useful in certain matchups. So for example, if I'm against Dark World and I really want to see a copy of Drone Lockbird, I'll go for Opening Ceremony instead of Dramatic Story because that's basically FTK. So the one card that I could cut from here is the Dimensional Barrier. And it is weird that I say that because it's a really good card and it has auto-won me so many games. But the thing is, this build doesn't need help going first. So for the upcoming YCS, I'll be replacing this with something that helps me go second into Labyrinth and Kashtira, as those are both situations that the deck struggles with most. So if you have any suggestions for that slot, I am all ears. And that's the full deck profile, everyone. As I said, there are definitely some slots that can be swapped out for other things, so feel free to experiment. But the core cards of the deck have really performed well at their current ratios. So if you are looking for a going first list, something like this is probably quite a good idea for yourself. If you want to go second, the Abyss Actor ratios would actually stay very similar. I'd maybe add in an extra dramatic story though. Anyway, that's all for today, and have a great day.